Hello and welcome to Miss Hannah Loves Grammar. In this video we'll be answering several questions about where commas should go. But for now we'll answer the first question. Where should a comma go with an introductory phrase? An introductory phrase provides information, and it's the first piece of information that you get within a sentence. Now, if the phrase is longer than 4 words, my suggestion is that you use a comma. You may use a comma also for a shorter phrase when you want to create a pause for effect and emphasise the meaning of the thing you are mentioning. Let me give you my first example. After this evening's performance, Sean will be signing autographs. I'm building up, through my introductory phrase, the prestige and impressive nature of Sean signing autographs. Let me now give you a sentence that misuses its approach to introducing new information in the introductory phrase. Before dinner, the family waited for everyone to sit at the table. As you can see, when you hear it read correctly, there is a need for a comma. Before dinner, the family waited for everyone to sit at the table. The fact that it's before dinner that the family wait for everyone to sit at the table is significant. We shouldn't be blending the fact that it's before dinner from the way that the family waited. So the comma is crucial because the introductory phrase of before dinner signals exactly when this happened, without confusing the way the family waited and the fact that they all waited for each member to assemble. So using a comma straight after the introductory phrase is critical. It adds to clarity, and without it you could confuse your reader by blending two different parts of your sentence. Now it's your turn. For each of the 5 sentences as they emerge, I want you to identify if the comma has been used correctly with the introductory phrase, or if a comma is needed. Hit pause if you need thinking time. Suddenly, an angry cat attacked her. Because we're drawing attention to how shocking the act of the angry cat was, we do need a comma after suddenly. Before starting the exam, the students revised hard. This is the correct use of the comma here because we're separating the way the students revised and when they chose to revise through the use of the comma. Now, the use of the comma in number 3 is critical because it's conveying the exact mood and attitude that we understand of the musician. It's reluctantly. They reluctantly play songs. So we understand that they're really angry to be so reluctant at playing music. Reluctantly, an angry musician played songs. It adds more emphasis to how frustrated our musician is. For number 4, without hesitation, the dog caught the bone. We really should separate the initial phrase from the rest of the sentence. So this is incorrect. It should instead read, without hesitation, the dog caught the bone. That's because we're learning the way in which the dog reacted as it caught the bone from the introductory phrase. And without that being broken apart, it is unclear to us what was without hesitation. Finally, hastily grabbing his ticket, he ran to the train. This is correct. We understand the manner with which the man moved as he took his train and the manner with which he grabbed the ticket also. Separating those initial 4 words from the remaining 5 words of the sentence is key to introduce the mood and atmosphere of speed and agility and intensity for the person in the sentence. So let's move on. We're now going to consider where a comma should go when considering direct address. So to clarify, direct address is mentioning someone's specifically. By name. When doing this, we need to make sure we separate the person's name with a comma after it. Let me demonstrate. Mum, I need your help. It's Mum, comma, I need your help. Here's what we shouldn't do. Lynn, there's someone on the phone for you. I naturally paused after I said Lynn's name. It should instead read, Lynn, comma, there's someone on the phone for you. We always add a comma after their name when we're directly speaking to someone. Now it's your turn. For each of the 5 interjections or questions, I'd like you to check that the comma has been used correctly after each person's name. Hit pause if you need thinking time. Robbie, is that you? This is incorrect. It should say, Robbie, comma, is that you? That's because we always put a comma straight after the specific person's name that we've mentioned, if we're directly talking to them. Daisy, can you listen? This is important. Yes, this is correct. They are talking to Daisy, and therefore, in the writing, we put a comma after her name. Of course, Dad, obviously I care. This is also correct. They're talking to their father, clearly. Zoe, pass it to me. That person sounded a bit impatient there. And finally, Zane, come back now. This is wrong. As we've already mentioned, we should always put a comma after the specific person's name that we're talking to. Zane, comma, come back now is correct. It's as simple as that. Finally, we need to consider this question. Where should a comma go after a question tag? As you may remember from videos in 10 point, a question tag is a short phrase or a word that turns a simple statement into a question. For example, Kevin's hair is slick, isn't it? The last part of that original statement becomes a question when the person says, isn't it? If we take isn't it out, it's simply a statement that Kevin's hair is slick. As you can see from the example, a question tag should be put before a comma, or preceded. That's the other word for put before. So let me give you an example that's incorrect. Shania is talented, isn't she? As you can see, in this example, the individual has not put a comma between the end of the statement and the beginning of the question. The way I like to see it is that a comma always goes just before the question part of the question tag. So for example, Shania is talented is all a statement. I then put a comma and I'm making it into more of a conversational question when I say, isn't she? Now, for each of the 5 question tags, I want you to identify if the use of the comma is correct or if the question tag needs a comma. Hit pause if you need thinking time. Football is a short career, isn't it? It's conversational. It's also correct because the use of the comma splits the original statement from the question tag, which is, isn't it? Holidays are relaxing, aren't they? The question tag is once more separated from the original statement with a comma. Likewise, Greece is a country in Europe, comma, isn't it? That shows that this person is uncertain. They're not confident about where Greece is. Just for the record, it is a country in Europe. Chips and dips are delicious, don't you think? I do agree. But unfortunately, this person has forgotten that they need to separate the statement that they believe is true, which is that chips and dips are delicious, with a comma, just to include the nature of what this ends as, which is a question tag. It should be chips and dips are delicious, comma, don't you think? And finally, the wolf is spectacular, isn't it? This is also incorrect because we need a comma. We need to have the statement, the wolf is spectacular, and then isn't it? There's a lot to take in here, and I definitely recommend with this video revisiting these particular rules if it hasn't been so clear the first time. But my utmost suggestion is remember that with question tags, with introductory phrases, and with direct address, there is a specific grammatical rule for each of these instances, and if you learn them now, you can apply them forever. Why not subscribe to Miss Hannah Loves Grammar for all things English, literary and grammatical?